Good afternoon, TFYTC. Sip of vodka for the working man. Top 10 bots. That's what's on the agenda today. Top 10 doesn't even do it justice. Like I haven't been able to pull down a top 10. But I've thrown some out here and I've thrown some new ones in and it's still not enough. But I've put 10 bots in this box and I'm going to go through them and explain to you why they're sort of my favourites. So, first one, get him out of the way. Bumblebee. Classics Bumblebee. He's he's just a perfectly formed little bot. He's everything that Bumblebee should be. Now the Masterpiece one looks very nice. I can't wait to get my hands on it with a little spike and exosuit. But this one was 2005, 2006. This came out and it blew me away. Yes, grumpiness. There's white bits on him. His back's all white. He's not a beetle. But as far as the classics line and the classics updates, I don't think there's been one. Well, I do think there's been one better than this because this is not the last classics on here. But um, yeah, and look at the face. I mean that's Bumblebee's head, fully. He's got colours in the right places. I know there's been umpteen different versions of this. I know it's Bumblebee, and there's a lot of people have an aversion to Bumblebee. I do for movie Bumblebee at least. But yeah, if you don't own some variation of this mold and you like classic stuff, it's probably worth picking up. He, he's pretty damn good. And that was one of the ones that I seen it on the shelves and I was like, ooh, Transformers are actually back as Transformers, proper things that I really like. Then, first Transformer that I've ever bought online. This is probably what kick-started me collecting properly again. Henkei Megatron. Now, I've done a proper review of this guy, I'm sure. He's got his awesome little scope on his gun, big, giant, shiny purple Decepticon symbol on him, shiny chest, shiny chest, awesome light piping, which you can't see very well, there you go, awesome light piping, and he changes into a gun, and he looks pretty badass. His legs, oh, I can't go over how much I like his legs, because the front of them is just shiny, chrome, painted black. It's so nice, and yeah, he looks so badass. There's not a whole lot of poses he can pull off, but just the way his legs pose is quite intense, quite amazing. He can pull off some fairly nice standing, being amazing poses. Kind of decided I had to have this one. The classics one was nice and all, but those colours. So swapping over, get the Japanese one. The United one also looks very nice. I recommend those. Now, if you've watched my auto assembly video, you know that I have a fondness for Beast Wars and Beast bots in general. This is one that I got before that, but I'd been after for so much longer. Transmetal 1 Cheetor, Transmetal 2 Cheetor's rubbish, but 2 is really nice. I've got this in, well, one other colour. I'd love it in all the colours. Any colours that you can give me on this guy. It's perfect little robot beast mode. The transformation's pretty nice. He turns into a pretty cool robot. He's got a decent enough weapon and shiny chromeness, and he's just really good. His head's getting very floppy nowadays, but he's still lovely. He's one of my favourite Beast Wars toys. Let's get the other of my favourite Beast Wars toys, Rampage. Again, been after this guy for a long time. I passed on buying him in Tesco's for a ridiculously low amount of money, like 3 quid, something like that. And just love him. And he's just dropped a missile. But it's better that he drops it in this box than just randomly whilst I'm carrying him about. Yeah. Amazing, imposing robot mode. Gorgeous colours. Some nice playability. He's got his little gun that spins round. He looks evil. He is evil. Great character in the show. He's got awesome big crab claws for his crab mode, and then his tank mode, which is a tank more or less, but it is basically still just a crab that's kind of folded up weird, but it's still cool. And he's just so lovely. He's a great toy. Um, yeah, I would recommend anyone that likes transforming robots pick this guy up. Now, I tried to avoid doing too much third-party stuff here because it is kind of cheating a little bit. I've got one other one, but first one is the Make Toys Battle Tanker. Make Toys, Maki Toys, Dem Toys Battle Tanker set for Laser G2 Classics Reveal the Shield Extreme Super Anniversary Edition Multiple Adjective Prime. Um, the original version of this mold was okay. It was fine, but it wasn't all that. Slap a couple of, well, 100 quid's worth of add-on stuff onto him, and he suddenly becomes one of my favourite bots. I didn't buy this until I seen the battle tanker, and it gives him some awesome guns. It gives him some much beefier proportions, especially his legs. I love his new legs. The original legs were far too skinny for me. I wasn't feeling those at all. But I love his new ones. And he also comes, as well as his little tanker, which becomes a big battle stationy thing, and can go in his backpack as a big arm missile launcher thing. As well as that, you can take his thing out, his gun out, and give him an awesome, if slightly fiddly to put in, giant sword. And if you put the sword in the backpack, you can see. Okay, you can't see, but I assure you it does actually light up. There you go. You can see it. It almost lights up. Almost. The blade really doesn't do a whole lot, and it's slightly disappointing, but you know what? It's still amazing. This bit does go in his backpack, but just not. There we go. So you've got his bit in his backpack with sort of a proton pack kind of look to it, which is quite nice. It's like, I assume it's a Ghostbuster sword. And he's got a new head that makes him look much more Optimus Prime-y than the original. And just generally, great toy. It gives a lot, like the vehicle mode, the combined mode of it all, makes it looks really nice. It's so good. So, yes, and speaking of the Battle Tanker set, you get a nice sword for Drift. Drift was a toy that when it first came out, before it came out, when the character first got shown, there was a lot of backlash to him, but I couldn't get over the fact that he was such an awesome design enough to hate him. Like, I understand sort of where people were coming from with that, but I can't see how you can hate the bot that looks this good. He's got some pretty nice light piping. It's a little bit difficult to see. You can sort of see it there. But yeah, the light piping looks nice from the right angle. He has a big giant sword. He has two little swords that go in his holsters and pull out and don't need to be removed for vehicle mode. He has a cool vehicle mode with fairly interesting transformation. It's not quite as straightforward as you would imagine, but it's not too tricky. Everything lines up nice in bot mode and in car mode. This little extra sword, just icing on the cake. And yeah, more repaints of this guy wouldn't go amiss. I had to do some masterpieces. Had to. 'Cause Masterpiece line is just so perfect for Transformers. There's so many nice ones, but I'm a little bit different. I've got Grimlock. I love Grimlock, especially as his Dinobot mode. The robot mode, is lovely, but very big. It doesn't fit with my classics. The Dino mode does, that's fine. I like that. Got Masterpiece Prowl. I couldn't be happier with him. A Masterpiece Sideswipe blew me away, surprisingly so. Like, it wasn't something I was really bothered about, but got a good deal on him and picked him up. But the Masterpieces, and I'm doing two because it's a two-pack. The black and red one, I'm staying out of that. I've had enough politics this week. The black and red one, and Ravage, mainly Ravage, but it's these little robots. This one and the blue and purple one, or purple and blue one rather, are really quite nice. Like they look spot on. They have little guns that you can hold in the back or in the hands. They transform really nicely into cassettes, and they just look really cool. I went with this guy because he probably has the nicer, like, bolder color scheme. Not because his arms transform into post boxes, which is also cool. But I really like his cassette mode, bizarrely. The red and the blue, I really like his cassette mode. It's very nice. And the shiny chrome on the boobs. Shiny boobs. Who doesn't like that? And Ravage. Lovely Ravage. He was the real reason that I picked these two guys. I'm still amazed by A, how nice and posable he is, and how accurate he is to the cartoon, and I suppose the comics. Some sort of different, like, side to side head movement might be nice, and yeah, it is really asking too much for an opening jaw, but I'm asking it anyway. But the fact that he transforms from this without any add-ons or with any parts forming to a flat cassette. I got the reissue Soundwave from Toys R Us 5, 10 years ago, I don't know. And I really liked the G1 Ravage. But this guy is like, compared to the original Ravage, this is an iPhone, and the original Ravage is like Alexander Graham Bell. Like, I'm being amazed that you can contact somebody in the next room. That that's the level of ingeniousness. Now, second last one, the penultimate one, Jazz. This is a mold that totally defines modern Transformers for me. This is what all Transformers toys should aspire to be. It is a near perfect update. It adds all the modern stuff that you could ask for. It adds character specific add-ons that are not intrusive. They can fold away nicely out of sight, don't need to be removed. They work perfectly in both modes. He's got a lovely little gun here that folds up and hides away in the alt mode. He's super posable. There's very little posing that you would want from him. I suppose, oh no, he doesn't have an ankle tilt is about the biggest problem with him, and he doesn't need an ankle tilt. Head sculpt's great. He's got light piping. This this is what Transformers should be. It's not the penultimate one. I forgot one. I'm saving this one till last. Second last then, number 10, because the two little mini cassette guys I'm counting as one. They were one box. So number 9, um, Jiggity Jig. Mania King from Unique Toys. This is the Galvatron I've always wanted. I loved my G1 Galvatron. I broke my G1 Galvatron because a big thing of wood fell on him when I was playing with him one day, and I still played with him even though he was broken. It did not phase me because I loved that Galvatron so much. Because the character and all the stories involved and just Galvatron. Just don't be wrong, Megatron I prefer as a Decepticon leader, but I think there should always be a room for a Galvatron. Do a time travel thing, make him a separate character, but have Galvatron involved in your Transformer stories because nobody else can really touch Galvatron as far as like just what he brings to a story. And this toy, give it some wrist swivels, make the head crest a little tiny little bit different, maybe even give him a more manic face. But other than that, oh, and make these bits the same colour as these. But other than that, he's amazing. He's perfect. People going about masterpieces, people going on about like perfect representations. This is all that I need of a Galvatron. He's a perfect classics style Galvatron. A brilliant update. He scales really quite well with everything. He's a bit tall, but he should be a bit tall. He's actually relatively spot on with Megatron. They're pretty much exactly the same height, and all their proportions are the same as well because he should be. It's the same guy. Um, yeah, it's got a perfect alt mode. The alt mode is exactly what it should be for this. He's really nice and posable. He can pull off some amazing poses. He's got a laser. I'm gonna do the laser again. Wah! I'm pointing that at my eye, but on the screen, and it's going down here. So that's magical. I don't have to blind myself. Um, yes, Mania King. Uh, Probably best third-party toy I've bought in a long time. And I bought Warden recently. But Mania King I like better. Final one. Number 11 or 10 or whatever. Okay, I'm ready. It's only Battle Unicorn. Yeah, I love my Battle Unicorn. With his little horn. His little bum horn. I love this sort of guy. I love the repaint of him. This is an impressive little thing. It's a perfect example of Transformers various generations because you couldn't you couldn't like get confused and think this is G1. It doesn't even look like Beast Wars. A lot of the other Transformers lines have got their own aesthetics, and this just it screams like Beast Machines because it is, but it's got that shiny metal that harkens back to Beast Wars. It's got the translucent plastic, which yeah, Beast Machines like definitely, but also it leads sort of forward as well. It's like they've mushed all the different styles of Transformers into this one sort of toy, and yeah, posability isn't the greatest, but he's got a cool gimmick. He's got nice weapon. He can hold his weapon. The sculpting on him's amazing, and he's got the translucent plastic thing going on. He can hold a decent pose. He can be like, "Come on, man, I'm a unicorn." Rah. That is exactly how unicorns speak. So yes, um, that's my top 10. That's not really my top 10. That's me tomorrow. Uh, Give me another couple of weeks to rummage through boxes and shelves, and I had honourable mentions. I had RTS Lugnut in here. I had Prime Ratchet in here. I had been going to put classic Starscream with his crown and shoulders and cape add-on with maybe the Mech Ideas Megatron and Shockwave guns. Hexatron, Swindle from the Fans Project Bruticus set. I was going to put him in because that Swindle is third party toys. That's what it should be. The Fans Project Insecticons, Transmetal Tarantulas, so many others. All my masterpieces. Optimo Optimus, Dragon Megatron. There's so many good toys out there. But these are 10 that I thought, yeah, I'll do these. There wasn't really any doubt about some of them. Some of them I thought, which if I could only keep one of these, which would I keep? And that's how Jazz is in there and not Prime Ratchet. Because Prime Ratchet I love, but Jazz I love more. So hopefully you've liked this little look, and I've gone on for 20 odd minutes, so I'm going to call it now. Thanks for watching.